and neglect kind of came from, I was sitting on the trail and just feeling like, if I ever neglect to pay attention in the way that I'm paying attention now, I need someone to pull me aside and remind me. That was kind of like the lyrical content. But Shahzad had an influence on this in a big way, because he suggested, like, what if it's instrumental? What if we don't have lyrics? And then he suggested, what if it's you and Bill Frisell together? And I was like,
to that.
Okay, because they're real close, and he plays a lot with Bill. So, and Bill was living in New York at the time, so he was able to come over for the morning, and that was really just being in his really patient, humble, deep listening presence was really incredible.
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week we talk with Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and producer Courtney Hartman. She joins us from her home in Eau Claire, Wisconsin to revisit her 2019 album Ready Reckoner, which was written while walking the 500-mile Camino de Santiago in France and Spain. She takes us inside the writing and recording of this intimate first solo album and talks about her wide-ranging influences that include Alison Krauss and Yanni. So pour a beverage, grab a snack, and kick back as we listen to music together here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, where it's always Friday and old albums never sounded better. Happy Friday!
Happy Friday!
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us all the way from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Courtney Hartman.
Thanks for having me.
Woo. We are happy to have you here. And so
Yes.
And we are happy because everyone is really ready for the weekend.
That's right.
That's all I got to say. Alan says, happy Friday, everybody. Let's see. Joe coming in on the BCLP stream out from Minneapolis. We have Ryan joining us. We have Christopher looking really forward to today's show, chiming in from Savage, Minnesota with a snack of Carboni's, wings, pizza, and Cab Sav. Sounds good to me. That's like a feast there happening. We got Connie.
Hey, Connie.
And Kermit and Christy hailing in from Cambridge with Oli. Susan from Bend, Oregon. Wherever you are tuned in, whatever time zone, thank you for joining us. We're really excited to have you here. This is going to be a fun party. And if you're new to the Back Catalog Listening Party, tell us where you are tuned in from. If you're enjoying a beverage or a snack, this is our weekly musical happy hour. And everyone's welcome at the party. And Ryan joining us from Fort Worth, blowing in with a drink ink in hand. I don't know what that is, but you'll have to expand, Ryan. Tony, are you enjoying a beverage today?
Yeah, I'm going back to the Brooklyn Brewery for their Special Effects NA series. And, you know, I'm going with the grapefruit IPA again. It's super good.
Get that taste of summer, because the Minnesota doesn't know what time of year it is right now. Is it winter? Is it spring? We don't know.
No.
I'm guessing it might be similar where you are in Eau Claire, Courtney.
Yes. Yeah. Today we had a snowstorm, and then it was sunny, and all of the things.
Yeah. Are you enjoying any kind of beverage or snack today?
I have some tea in my favorite
Excellent.
little mug.
Nice.
Nice.
What kind of tea are you drinking?
Some chamomile and nettle.
Nice.
Some nettles, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I apparently this says something about how my week is going. I poured a whiskey for myself in a very fancy glass too. So,
well, cheers, Ellen. Cheers, Courtney. And cheers to all of you out there listening live or listening later on the podcast. Like Ellen said, this is our weekly musical happy hour, and it's a party because you're all here. And so for those of you who are joining us live, make sure you put your questions and your comments for Courtney into the real-time chat, and we'll try to get to them before the end of the hour.
Yes, and we are excited to have Courtney Hartman on the show. We've been trying to get her on the show for a while, and then the the universe had other plans, and I think you caught a bug, so we had to reschedule. But we're really excited that you're here and healthy and ready to join us this week. You've worn a lot of different musical hats and done a lot of different things. Maybe you could give a brief origin story about where you grew up and how you fell into making the music you make.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Colorado, and grew up with a big family. My parents were into bluegrass, and so that was like a foundation for us musically. And we did the family band thing and the traveling around, with siblings thing. But I picked up guitar when I was about 12, and my mom was taking lessons. So I would go with her and watch and then steal her guitar. And that kind of became what felt like my truest voice, my favorite instrument to play. And learned a lot at music camps growing up. That was we were talking about a bluegrass festival earlier, and those kinds of academies and stuff where you learn orally, and then studied for a little while at Berklee College of Music in Boston, and joined a band called Delamay, and they're still active, and I played with them for about 7 years, and then needed a shift and kind of left that project and left New York and the East Coast and went back home, and within life changes happened quick. All of a sudden I was like, oh, I think I'm in love with this guy who lives in Wisconsin, and now I live here. So that was 8 years ago.
Welcome to the Upper Midwest.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we're happy to have you, and you've been known more recently as a solo artist, a singer-songwriter and guitarist, and you kind of straddle a few genres. Do you just kind of record whatever the songs are telling you in whatever format that might be, or is that determined, or is it a little more like, oh, I'm gonna make like a really like a folk record right now? Or
yeah, I like the idea of having I'm gonna make this kind of thing, but it's not usually how it works for me. It's like highly influenced by what I'm writing and who I'm around, the music that I'm influenced by and curious about. And the project I most recently put out was very influenced by the local community here in Eau Claire, which is so rich and such beautiful musical relationships. But yeah, exploring stuff more in the indie world, or if I'm doing collaborations with folks who are maybe coming from different traditions or different countries, that influences my songwriting. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, that's nice. Really neat. Well, the album that you've picked to revisit on today's show is Ready Reckoner. It came out in 2019. So just ahead, you got it in just ahead of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So tell us why you picked this album.
Well, I'm excited to listen back to it, and primarily I think because I admire and love the people who were on it so much, and there's so many stories woven in. Yeah, it just felt like this was also my first full-length record.
Like solo record.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so
that's a big deal.
It's fun to go back to that. Yeah. Fun might be, nerve-wracking. No, I accept it. I accept exactly who I was then. Yeah, fun is the right word.
Oh, I think it will definitely be fun. And it's funny. I feel like this just came up recently. Maybe it was a conversation with Heather Maloney where it was like, we were talking about, she was like, I'm a little nervous about it. And we're like, it's always more fun than you think it is. So you'll have to report back and tell us if we're right.
Yes.
Because I think, most artists don't revisit their old albums. And that's what we like to do on this show, is torture artists by making them listen to them.
And watching them.
Yes, exactly.
But albums that have been out in the world for a while, right? And albums that were a time and place in your life and all of that stuff. So
yeah. So
we're
absolutely.
So we're excited to revisit this record, and we know it features a lot of cool collaborations, which we'll talk about. But this first song you picked to feature is also, I think, the first track on the record, Hollow. Is there anything you want to say about this song before we take a listen?
Yeah. No, actually. Let's just listen, and then we'll talk about it afterward. How about that?
Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, let's give it a spin. This is Courtney Hartman with Hollow here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Ooh, nice. Courtney Hartman with Hollow from her 2019 album Ready Reckoner, which we are revisiting today with Courtney Hartman joining us live from her home in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And I love what Christopher said here in the comments. He said, next Robert Plant project, you can replace Alison Krauss. just
no.
But I mean, I hear what he's saying, because it's not just like your beautiful vocals, which are quite stunning, but it's like there's like a vibe in that song that kind of is a little bit like, certainly, especially from their collaborations, which has a kind of like a groovy but kind of haunting vibe to it.
Some sparse kind of studio sounds. A lot going on in that track, Courtney. Like
cinematic.
There's a lot. Yeah. Well, he read my influences right, because I got a Yanni CD and a Alison Krauss CD when I was 6 years old, and I tilted towards the Alison Krauss side of things, but huge influence.
Well, Yanni knew how to do soundscapes, so
totally.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to dig into the soundscapes, because I mean, like, very beginning of the song, there's these, like, it sounds like a little ethereal bow on the strings, and there's these little percussive hits that are happening, especially like even in the stereo field. There's just a lot of really interesting things that are kind of helping tell the story, and I always am curious how much of that is kind of orchestrated or directed ahead of time, and how much of that is spontaneous in the studio. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, it was so fun to like hear sounds, be like, oh yeah, that little sound. That a lot of this one happened live, and so it was all about just kind of finding that space, and the collection of musicians that I was with. The percussion was happening, percussion drums, a drummer named Jason Berger, and then a bassist named Ethan Yojevitz was playing, and then Sam Ryder was playing keys, and so a lot of the percussion was like a treated piano. Or not a lot of the percussion, but some of it was a piano that had a bunch of stuff on it, and
interesting,
like just literal stuff, stuff.
Yeah, like stuff on the strings and hammers and stuff.
Yeah, so you can kind of hear those plunking, and then so much richness happening in the string section, which was arranged by a friend, Russell Durham, and a theme throughout this whole record as we're listening. I wrote the bulk of the songs while walking, and I was walking a pilgrimage called the Camino de Santiago from France to the coast of Spain. And so kind of what I was surprised by in just like hearing this first track was that it's really patient, but it felt like a slow, consistent walking pace or something. And this song specifically, like when I began the trail, which was this first day, crossing the Pyrenees, I realized I needed to not write anything, and it took days of like emptying my mind, my heart, to feel like I could begin to start writing, which was a little that was unsettling at first. Like, well, I thought I was coming here to like get something done, which is a real classic me spirit. It's just trying to get it done. But that hollowing out was so important for me.
The journey itself kind of initiating that.
Yeah. That's what the song kind of speaks to, is hollowing out in order that I might carry some of those reminders back home with me.
For those of you who are just listening to the podcast version, we're looking at some photos that Courtney shared with us here from this trail. And this looks, the first photo looks like the beginning of your journey here. And the next one, it looks like the various things that you have packed with you on this trip. Can you talk a little bit about what you brought with you?
Yeah. So in this photo, you can see that there's a yellow arrow, which always directs you while you're on the Camino. You look for the yellow arrow, which I think I maybe mentioned in one of the songs we'll listen to. But Osprey packs, they're like the best, and they're really supportive of musicians and the arts. And so I had reached out to them and was like, I don't know. I said I'm going to do this trip, and they kind of immediately were like, well, can we make you a custom like guitar sling essentially, so
Oh,
you can see how that all
wow.
attaches. And then the guitar was a similar situation. I play Bourgeois guitars. That's a company out of Maine, and Dana Bourgeois is a good friend. And I called him and I was like, I want the most lightweight, sturdy instrument. Thinking like he would be like, go get the baby Taylor and take that on your trip and trash it. He was like, let's can I make you something? So this
Wow.
guitar was a collaboration with him and the other luthiers, and I use it all the time. I record with it a bunch, and I didn't fall on it and crush it, which felt like a victory.
Yeah.
The photo we're looking at looks like a very small body, like a parlor size
Yeah.
guitar.
Yep.
Is that smaller than like even a parlor size guitar?
I think it would be a parlor size. Yeah. So it's a shorter fretboard, and yeah, just like real light body.
So you got a custom backpack and a custom guitar.
And I'm
you
seeing
really
my
got
shoes
outfitted.
there. The Keens is another company that supports musicians, and they had sent me with shoes, so I was very lucky to
That's
Wow.
amazing.
have
That
all
is
of that.
amazing.
And for folks who don't know, I mean, the Camino Trail is it's quite an undertaking. I mean, how long did it take you to do it?
40 days, and it was
Yeah.
I
Wow.
had done about 500 miles.
Right. And obviously it takes people different times depending on
Mhm.
how many miles people want to pack in and how
How
many
big of a
songs you're
guitar they
writing.
have.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or how many songwriting breaks they need to take, all those things.
Totally, yeah.
So again, you said like, was it all the songs or the bulk of these songs were written during this time period, during this 40 days?
The bulk of them. Yeah, and I wasn't the intention was not to write an album. I wanted to go. The thing about the Camino is like for almost everyone I met, it kind of comes into your frame of reference in a way that you all of a sudden are like, I can't not do this. I know I'm supposed to do this thing, and I don't know why. And so I knew I was supposed to go, and I didn't exactly know why. And so then came home and had, just like journals and a bunch of voice memos. I was like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
So that was how that all
Yeah.
happened.
I love too that you were talking about how you had to like empty yourself out of all this stuff in order to let something new in. And I think that this is something that happens I think even if you aren't a songwriter, I think people experience this even when they like go on vacation, right? Isn't there some study that it takes like 3 or 4 days just to like get rid of your normal life, like, and all the stresses of your work or your family or whatever, to like just be open to enjoying and relaxing. And I think 40 days obviously should be enough time for that. But it is funny. It takes time to do that. And one thing I love is this song really kind of documents that in a musical way, because I love that it starts off with this sort of plotting and almost like haunting, like you're being haunted by these thoughts or burdens or stuff that you brought with you that maybe wasn't the cool stuff, like the pack and the guitar, but like the stresses and the regrets or all the things, right? Yeah. And I feel like, but then as the song goes on and it gets to that, especially where your voice goes up and like the strings really soar, it feels like, I don't know if that was your intention, but to me it felt like, oh, it's where all the stuff got expelled.
Yes. I love that image. That's right. And it that process is so much more lengthy sometimes than we want it to be.
Yeah.
And just having patience with it.
And somehow, creating something new, whether it's a song or anything else, there's a lot of things that you have to sometimes undo to get to the doing. So beautiful tune. And in fact, someone was noticing, I think Ryan was commenting on the drone of the guitars, the root of it. And I was curious, in the beginning, was that a guitar? I was wondering if was that a cello or it was a guitar? Those notes.
That wasn't that little guitar. We'll hear the little guitar somewhere, but that was an archtop. But yeah, just kind of that Yeah, that I don't know, not ostinato in some way, I guess, because
Mhm.
it threads through a chunk of the song.
Nice.
Well, the production on this is exceptional. I really got to know where this was recorded and who was sitting behind the console and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you. So I connected with an artist named Shazad Ismaili, and we were a part of a program called One Beat. He was there, kind of mentoring folks. I was there as a participant, and he kind of prodded me a little, just kind of like, "What are you working on? How can I help you in some way?" And so he co-produced the record and engineered a lot of it. And looking back, I feel like, did I know how lucky I was?
Really nice
He's
stuff.
really unbelievable and incredibly intuitive. The way that he kind of guides energy in a session and really present. So he was engineering. We had a number of other folks, including Phil Weinrobe did some engineering, and Chris Botta, and then Tucker Martine mixed it out of Portland. And so I went out and spent 10 days or something with him. And again, like just he's made so many of albums that I really, really love a lot. So yeah, that was all at Figure 8. The tracking all happened at Figure 8 in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it sounds fantastic. And I can't wait to see what other songs came out of your pilgrimage on the Camino.
Hey there, would you like to be part of the live show? Well, become a member of the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, and you'll get a backstage pass to weekly online tapings where you can ask the artist questions and participate in the live chat with a fun community of like-minded music nerds. You'll also get a first look at upcoming guests and receive invitations to special live streams and private after parties. So join the party today at patreon.com/Back Catalog Listening Party.
So the next track that you picked to feature is Neglect. Is there anything you want to say about this one before we take a listen?
No, let's just listen and then
I love it.
Chat.
Sounds good. This is Neglect from Courtney Hartman here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Nice.
Oh, beautiful. I think my blood pressure dropped like 10 points just listening to that.
Yeah, that really, really tasty sounds right there. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Courtney Hartman with Neglect from her 2019 album Ready Reckoner. Tell us a bit about the instrument you were playing that on.
Mm-hmm. That I should have mentioned this before, maybe, but so that is a duet with Bill Frisell, and so he's on the, at least how my headphones, he's on the right, and I'm on the left, and he's playing a telly, and I was playing an archtop, and this song had lyrics. It was a song, and kind of an incomplete. It didn't quite. It wasn't working as a song, but I liked the melody and felt like it needed to fit somewhere. And Neglect kind of came from, I was sitting on the trail and just feeling like, if I ever neglect to pay attention in the way that I'm paying attention now, I need someone to pull me aside and remind me. That was kind of like the lyrical content. But Shahzad had an influence on this in a big way, because he suggested, like, what if it's instrumental? What if we don't have lyrics? And then he suggested, what if it's you and Bill Frisell together? And I was
What do you
like,
say to that?
okay, because they're real close, and he plays a lot with Bill. So, and Bill was living in New York at the time, so he was able to come over for the morning, and that was really just being in his really patient, humble, deep listening presence was really incredible.
Yeah, speaking of which, it really felt like a musical conversation there. And I wanted to know, like, was this like, did he just come in and I'm going to play this song and he's just kind of riffing, improvising with you? Or did you work it out at all? Like, it really felt like a really beautiful back and forth.
He came in and set up his pedal board, and he has a bunch of little mooses that he puts around his board. And I kind of played the melody a few times for him, and we just played together a little bit, kind of finding our language. And then I think we played through the whole tune maybe 3 or 4 times, and I shared a YouTube link that has a video, because we were it was all tracked kind of live, so it was one take, and where we landed exactly. You can kind of see the studio.
Yeah, we're for those of you who are listening to the podcast version, we're looking at a YouTube video of the actual take happening. So for those of you that wanted that rig rundown, you get to see it in all its glory. Wow.
Yeah, and we'll have a link to that on our back catalog listening party website.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So I think we landed on that final note, and it was like, oh, that was the take.
Yeah.
And then he went, and then he left. And it was,
I like that it sounds like some mysterious thing, like a fairy coming in, like the fairy guitar player coming in to be like, kind of do their magic, and then just go away.
Yeah. All right, I'll be going now.
I love that. And I also, I can't remember who it was, maybe Carrie Rodriguez, one of our past guests, talked about working with Bill Frisell, and they were just talking about how playful he was. And it sounds so interesting that the way you talk about, you're like, it sounds like you just kind of play through the song, and like that there wasn't a lot of like, we're going to do it this way. It was just, let's play around the music.
Totally.
And I love that there was lyrics too, like, because there's emotion in this melody, and I don't know what those words were, but I'm feeling like I'm understanding something.
That's cool to hear.
And did you ever use those lyrics for anything else, for like a different song down the road, or are they still just sort of sitting there somewhere in a notebook?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because, sometimes, I mean, I don't know if you've had this, but I've certainly had it where, like, you have like
Yeah.
You really like the lyrics, or you like a line or whatever
Mhm.
started it, and you're like, I like this piece, and then you're like, this is not working. But then I never throw it away, because sometimes it gets
Yeah.
a
It
line or
it, like, comes back, or
yeah.
you don't even realize. Like, I'm realizing right now, there was a line, that I, like, saw on a wall or something on the Camino that became a bridge line in my next like, the first song of my next record. Like,
Oh,
so
cool.
things weave together in funny ways.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd throw another picture while we're at it here.
Yeah. So, and you walked the whole Camino. I mean, I know that you sometimes meet people along the way on a long journey like this, but you embarked on it by yourself, right? So you
Yeah.
did this all solo.
Yeah,
Which-
it was, one of the biggest lessons was, you know, th people are everything. In a lot, it's like you can't get away from how annoying people are, or how, like, gracious and generous and loving and caring, like, having strangers help you with blisters and offer their bed, and the deepest learning, I think, came still from people, even though I was walking alone.
Mm, yeah. That's really beautiful. Well, folks are really enjoying the music. I just want to say,
Yay.
and in fact, I also want to point out, what a beautiful, Ryan says, what a beautiful sonic sound space. I feel like I'm definitely being transported, whether it's to the Camino or just another plane of the universe. And if you're enjoying the music, as we know you are, good news is you can get this on CD or vinyl. So you can get, like, you want to get these tracks in their full audio glory, because, we're hearing it in our headphones. And if you're listening, like, on, on the podcast, as good as the music might sound, it's going to sound even better if you get these high fidelity tracks.
It's like 2 versus 3D. I mean it. Like, when I get to listen to the high res files, and especially on a track like that, clearly playing live in a beautiful studio with amazing instruments, amazing right hands, and a
you can hear the tapping and the hitting of the strings,
the creaks and all of that stuff. I mean, it really comes to life, especially when you can hear all the details. So for those of you who love this music, put that investment into either the vinyl or the CD or high-res digital file even, and make sure you're getting all the ones and zeros to paint that picture.
Oh, sounds so good. In fact, I was just thinking, I was like, I need to get this on vinyl right now. Because it just, as Tony was saying, you could really hear on that last track. I could hear, some like fingers tapping the instruments, and it
like
was
the creak of a chair here and there. I love it.
Yeah, hear Bill's breathing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is the stuff you don't get with. There's a lot of music out there that you don't get that kind of intimacy, and I feel like with an album like this, it really matters that you hear all those details, because you feel like you're in the room with Courtney and Bill Frisell. So, I mean, that's where I want to be. I want a front seat to that all the time.
CourtneyHartman.com, and you too can have a front seat. And I bet you there's some sweet liner notes and things in that vinyl edition that you can see all of the players and who's on what and who's playing what, and maybe some info on these instruments. It's the kind of stuff we live for here at the Back Catalog Listening Party. Yeah,
we were born out of liner notes, pretty much, this show.
Amazing.
People who can't get enough of that stuff. So, CourtneyHartman.com. It's also where you can find tour dates and other information, and including, you can also find her new record, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But before we do, I just want to remind folks that if you want to do a deeper dive into Courtney's music, in addition to going to her website, also you want to go to, especially if you're listening to the podcast, go to backcatalog.listeningparty.com and go to this episode with Courtney Hartman, because you'll also find some of those photos of the Camino, all the stuff that was in her pack. You'll find the video of her playing with Bill and other cool stuff. So make sure to check that out. backcatalog.listeningparty.com. Well, this next track you picked to feature is Won't Be Satisfied. And do you want to just go and listen, or do you want to tell us something about it?
This is one that I didn't write on the trail. I wrote it kind of like in a last minute. Like I need a fresh song for this. It was a Earth Justice like fundraiser, and that would have been maybe not 2016, but it might have been 2017. So there was a group in Brooklyn who were like, "Yep, let's try to raise some money for this." So I wrote this song out of that, and just kind of with the thought of like I have 7 younger siblings, and the thought of like children being like, we're not going to be satisfied with the way we've been doing things. And I think Greta Thunberg was maybe just like she might have been, it might have been like an early awareness of her as well. So that's what I'll say about this one as far as context, and we can talk more about all of it after we listen.
Sounds good. This is Courtney Hartman, Won't Be Satisfied, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
We have seen mercy rise up like a mountain, and we have seen a mountain settle into sea, and we have seen the sea swallow up 1,000, and we have seen 1,000 rise in victory, and we won't be satisfied. Sing the children, we won't be satisfied. Sing the children of the land. We have seen clouds that brought the water, and we have seen the water fall over in vain, and many times in vain. We have listened for the thunder, and many times the thunder still brought no rain, and we won't be satisfied. Sing the children, oh, we won't be satisfied. Sing the children of the land. We will not be a tree that bears no fruit, and we will not be a fruit that is bitter in its taste, and we will not be a tree that bears no fruit, and we will not be a fruit that is bitter in its taste, and we won't be satisfied. Sing the children, oh, we won't be satisfied. Sing the children of the land, and we won't be satisfied. Sing the children, oh, we won't be satisfied. Sing the children of the land.
Whew. Yeah. Nice. Courtney Hartman with Won't Be Satisfied from her 2019 album Ready Reckoner, which we are revisiting today with Courtney Hartman joining us from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And whoa, that was really cool. It's funny when it started, I was like, oh, this kind of has like a Tom Waitsy kind of like kind of funky like thing going on. And then when the vocals came in, I was like, Marvin Gaye. Like I had that kind of a little echo of that like
amazing. Yeah.
Like makes me want to holler vibe.
Mixed in with like an old spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end it has this beautiful like kind of like poppy like melodic thing that is just great. I just totally dug it. I was there for all of it.
Amazing. There are some moments.
And also the vocals are really cool. I mean, your vocals are doing beautiful things. And then I don't know if there was two other voices. I mean, there's that kind of low one, and then there's that one that's kind of like in parallel to you on the chorus. Tell us who's joining you on those.
Yeah, so the one that was like in unison with me on the verses, that's this guy Aaron Roach. And then the other one that is throughout the choruses and sometimes kind of echoing, that's Sam Amadon.
Yeah.
And so he was in England or London, I think, at the time. And so he just sent in his tracks, but he sent a bonus track, which he said, my son recorded trumpet. This is his,
wow.
So his son had his first like album credit was on this song.
Oh, nice.
Like totally fun and wacky trumpet line in that instrumental, which was like exactly what it needed.
Oh, yeah. There's just so much happening in that. And, but yeah, it had that sort of anthemic, marching vibe as a good social justice song should have, you know, you need to be able to play it while you protest.
Yeah. Totally.
No, as relevant as ever.
Yep.
And it's just, it feels like nature is, you know, obviously played a big part in the writing process as you were out on this trail. And like, is that just a theme that's always kind of woven through your music, kind of the natural world and environmental issues and things like that?
Yeah, I think it is. That's like, at least it has been. I hope it continues to be, because it's like one of the most important things to me.
Well, you were talking about, you know, people being everything, and I agree. And then I heard this and I was like, and the environment in which we live.
The world which houses the humans, right?
Our home and our mother. Yeah, absolutely.
The Back Catalog Listening Party is brought to you by EFS Publicity. Founded by veteran publicist, promoter, DJ, and musician Ellen Stanley, EFS brings an artist's perspective to the table, working to help clients get to the next level in their career. Services include national and international media campaigns, radio promotions, tour press, crowdfunding, grant writing, and more. Get a quote or set up a consultation today at efspublicity.com. Well, I mean, I love hearing these tracks, which each one has been so different from the other. Although there's definitely, like, you know, threads connecting them all. But I think it's so interesting that I think if people just heard these songs, they would not have guessed you were in a family bluegrass band, and that was like where you came up there. And then you were played like, now Della Mae was definitely like also kind of touched and continues to touch in other genres, but, you know, is kind of rooted in the bluegrass world. So folks might be surprised by that. But obviously it gave you the backing of all this instrumentation and the ideas of improvisation and all these things. But it seems like a lot of your projects of late have been a little more in these, you know, experimenting with these different genres. Do you ever see yourself doing like a solo bluegrass record or doing anything like that?
Kind of. Like there's like, it's still so much a part of me, and like music that brings me so much joy. So I don't know what that would look like. And it might not, you know, it won't be like straight ahead because I tend to like veer off. But I think as I've like, I have a 3-year-old now, and introducing her to these sounds, and I'm like, oh yeah, this like, it's like part of my fabric. It just brings me so much joy. You know, like listening to Norman Blake will never not feel good to me. And so playing, I would be delighted if that happened.
As would we.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything you put out, I'm sure will be special because, you know, there's so much musicality and thought put into everything that you do. And And that's certainly evident on this project, Ready Reckoner. If you're joining us for the live taping, make sure if you have any questions or comments for Courtney, our hour is going super fast. So make sure to put them in the live chat so we can get to any questions you might have for Courtney. We mentioned that this album that we're revisiting today is available on CD and vinyl, which you can get at CourtneyHartman.com. And you have a new record that's out called With You, which just came out at the tail end of 2025, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about that project, because I know it's pretty different from this one.
Yeah, it was also it documented a journey of sorts. My experience with becoming a mother. And writing throughout pregnancy and then postpartum, and all of the songs on that record almost all of the songs were co-written with other mothers. So that was a really
cool.
important piece. And then the recording of it, I mentioned earlier, was, very influenced and rooted by the community here in Eau Claire, people who I had been playing a lot with and who had been the folks who showed up with meals after I gave birth and, had helped us build our house, and all of those people and close friends. But then bringing in artists whose music had been a really important thread in the fabric of that time. Couple being Watch House and Phil Cook and Tiff Merritt, and so very collaborative. I think I made my middle record was like almost all me alone in a barn. And so these are kind of holding, balancing that out. But yeah, With You, the theme of the record is what it means to care for and to be with each other and with another being. And for me, that was, specifically motherhood, but kind of expands outward from there.
Yeah. And I love, I'm just going to put a plug in because I love this new record that Courtney put out. I've been playing a lot in my radio show. And one of the things I love is it's as much about care for mothers as it is for how mothers care for children. Because I think one of the pieces that often gets missed is like, we all know we have to like care for the family and the kids and we recognize that it takes a lot for women to bring life into the world and then to take care of them when they're young. But who takes care of the mothers? And I love that this is about like a whole community of people showing up. And it just reiterates that theme you were talking about, that people are, it's everything. So so it's really beautiful. So I highly recommend it. Musically, it's different from this project, which is great. I mean, everything, it's just beautiful though. So CourtneyHartman.com is where you can pick up all of Courtney's records. Just get them all. Get them all. You won't be disappointed.
And if you really want to get to know Courtney a little bit more, she also has a Patreon community. And we always love when guests have a Patreon community. That's something that we share with you. And we'd love to hear what your community's like and what people can expect if they sign up. Yeah.
So I started it last year. I was a little late to arriving. But I wanted a place where I could share more in depth about the process of writing with you and recording it. And from there, I'm in a season right now. I'm about a month out from expecting baby number 2 and wanting to be able to give to people who want to take lessons. So I'm shifting in a little bit to be able to talk more about guitar specific stuff and songwriting specific stuff. So if that's of interest, there's some of it there now, and there will be more in the coming weeks, and being able to just nurture that as I'm able to in this season. So
nice.
Yeah, that's kind of where that's at.
Well, you can learn more at patreon.com/Courtney Hartman Music. And I think there's some guitar players and aspiring musicians out there that are going to be signing up.
Amazing.
So make sure you check that out.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Courtney, was nominated for Instrumentalist of the Year at the Americana Music Awards because she's that good. So, you've already heard how good she is on recording, but seriously, that's not just some trick of the studio. She's really that good.
Got the skills, those bluegrass musicians, they know how to pick.
Yeah, that's right. From the cradle. And I also love Ryan's comment here, just saying, going back to your desire maybe to make a bluegrass record. Bill Anderson never wanted it to be straight ahead, and Norman Blake never gets old. Good luck with your return to form in bluegrass. So
yes.
The best way to support Courtney's return to bluegrass and all her future projects, babies and music and all of it, is by joining that Patreon. So please do that. And now we want to thank all the people who've supported our Patreon. And these are the folks that have kept this back catalog listening party experiment going for almost 6 years. Thank you.
God bless you. Yeah. So we get to sit and enjoy music like this once a week. Holy moly.
We are the luckiest ducks on the planet. Thanks to Penny, Anna, Linda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Christy, Diane, Hetty, Sandy, Neighbor Ann, BZ, Paul, Cynthia, Ross, Mike, Eric, Stephanie, Phil, Ryan with his new pint glass, and maybe you, if you want a back catalog listening party pint glass. I think we only have a few left, so this is your chance.
We're getting down to the last
That's
few.
right. So if you want to pick up one of those and get invites to all the live tapings, the best way to do it is to join our Patreon. But however you've tuned us in, thank you for joining the party. If you're listening on the podcast and you enjoyed the episode, like it, review it, share it with friends. But most importantly, subscribe, because we drop new episodes every Friday with some of our favorite artists that are soon to become your favorite artists. So
that's right. Listen to us torture them, make them listen to their own music. And
then we all benefit. It's great.
And it's like the most enjoyable torture ever for us anyways. And but it's only because you're out there doing it with us. There's just something magical about knowing other people are listening live when we're taping these, and knowing that people are going to be listening to this together, on a podcast or wherever. I mean, it really is, even if we can't be in person together, there's something about the community that just makes it so special.
That's right. And we have time for one more song. So we're going to end with this one, which I think is an appropriate one, because my Latin is, I did not take Latin, but I'm guessing Finis Terrae is, that's Finnish, right? End, I'm guessing? End of the earth? End of the earth?
Yeah, end of the earth. Exactly. It's the name of the final town that I walked to in Spain. You finally, after 40 days, I saw the water, so, saw the ocean. And so this song kind of is about just like the days when you don't want to get up and do what you do in the world. For me, that was walking, and it was simple and beautiful, and I still didn't want to do it some days. And then coming, all of us feel that. But what we do in the world is important for each one of us. And let's see, anything special I'll leave you. Anais Mitchell is on this track. She sounds a bird at the end. Great. She came over like in her sweats after she put her kiddos to bed and sang, and that was such a treat to have her. And Johanna Amaya is a percussionist from Colombia. She plays on this. And Hannah Fiddler is a bassist from Chicago. So there was a really beautiful, really deep feminine presence on this track.
Nice. And those that are just listening to the audio version of the podcast, we're seeing you, I guess, emerge in seeing the water. Is this like the first time that you saw the water then at the end?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It was a rainy day. It looks like there I'm standing kind of.
It does look like the end of the earth, by the way, that photo. It looks like it's something out of Lord of the Rings or something. Like
it really feels like it. You're like, if I didn't know the earth was round, I don't think I had reached it.
Well, I can't think of a better way to close out our hour here with Courtney Hartman on the back catalog listening party.
Courtney Hartman with Finis Terrae from her 2019 album Ready Reckoner. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
I know reaching the end of the world feels really good. Although reaching the end of the episode does not feel really good because this has been such a special hour.
Yeah. It's been a great time.
I was just thinking that I'm like, now I just need to, as soon as we get off here, I'm just going to listen to the whole record in sequence because that's what I need now. I don't want to leave this plane. So thank you, Courtney Hartman, for joining us to talk about this
album. Thank you for listening and this comments, and thank you for having me. You're right. It's fun. It wasn't as torturous as I thought.
Yay! Another thumbs up from one of our guests. Great.
Yeah.
Well, people loved it, and I want a big shout out to everybody who came and joined us live today. The comments are just lit up here on that last tune. People thanking Courtney for her music and for sharing her stories and everything with them. And I concur. Thanks, Courtney, and thanks to all of you listening and everybody out there who supports independent music in any way, shape, or form. It really is the antidote to all everything else. Music and community will save us.
Yeah,
and real people.
Yes, and just echoing Courtney's theme of like people are everything, and we feel you out there listening and joining us and joining the party in whatever way you can. And we are so grateful for all of it, and in particular for the music today, Courtney. So thank you so much, and take care of each other, and come back next week as we have another great episode with one of your favorite artists or one of your future favorite artists. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Cheers. See you next week.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, which helps more people discover our show and our guests.
And do you want to be a part of the live show, get a first look at upcoming guests, and receive invites to private online parties and live streams? Then join our Patreon community at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Friday for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.